Alright, well hi, welcome to the online convention. Hopefully you're getting drunk. I know I wanted to. My buddy downstairs wanted me to drink tonight. I told him I couldn't. I have miles to go before I sleep. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? You know, miles to go before I sleep. That's a Robert Frost poem. So, you know, Robert Frost has lots of poems, but I quote the one less recited. And that's made all the difference. Yeah, my buddy, he's got like long hair, big sideburns. It looks like Rene Descartes. And he didn't know who that was either. So we Googled it. He was like, wow, I think I do look like Rene Descartes. It's like, well, if you think you look like Rene Descartes, then you do. Gonna start us off real nerdy. That's what I do. I'm a super nerd. I love it. I love superheroes, and now's a good time if you love superheroes. They're all over the place. I just marathoned Daredevil on Netflix. If you guys, if you haven't seen Daredevil, who are you? Daredevil? Just 15 minutes. That joke's way funnier. Got to see the Creationist documentary this summer, Jurassic World. That was real fun. Humans and dinosaurs living together. The movie I'm most looking forward to seeing this summer, though, it's called Bat Kid. It's about a 6-year-old whose make-a-wish was to be Batman. So the city of San Francisco got together and they let him fight the Riddler, which is really the only bad guy that can be beaten by the 6-year-old. The Riddler's superpower is bad comedy. Like, I'm this close to being the Riddler right now. And the fight scenes, you know, Riddler's just going to be like, riddle me this! Why did the Bat Kid cross the road? To get to the other side, where he'll be in a better place. And then the doctor said, cancer? I don't even know her! Now, I'm excited because this will be a fresh take on the Batman story where his parents get to live for a change. Yes. Laughing at dead kids, you know. Don't get offended now. They've been dying all year. Don't pick now to get upset by them. Like every time there's a school shooting, I have to listen to my dad say, well, you know, if those kids had guns, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Because the only way to stop a bad gun with a gun is a good gun with a gun. Because guns don't gun guns, guns. Like, that's his solution to everything, is just add more of the problem and then it'll go away. Like when he found me smoking, he made me smoke the entire pack of cigarettes. And then when he found out I was gay, I had to suck all the dicks. So that's his solution, is just more of it. I don't think that's how it works. I thought the whole point was getting guns out of schools after Paducah and Columbine. Because those kids didn't shoot up their classmates because they had guns or were born on a Tuesday. They killed their classmates because they were being bullied. Because words are way more powerful than guns. If you don't believe me, put on the cha-cha slide and watch white girls line up. Like, you can get people to do anything as long as there's a good beat. Right? So it'll be like, slide to the left, slide to the right, everybody stab your friends. Ring, 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 ring. Cha-cha. That's why freedom of speech is in the First Amendment and guns are in the Second. Because they're that important. Like, it's to the point now, like, China has started banning puns. That's how scared they are. Which, if you know me at all, know how devastating that is. So when I found out, I got online, took to my own form of internet activism, or as I like to call it, inactivism. And I tweeted at China that their air is so polluted that their once white clouds are now Beijing. Yeah, so guess who's not going to China anymore? Nope, I am a wanton criminal. And, you know, the liberals kind of have like the same mentality of, you know, words are scary and offensive. So let's just throw more words at things so that you can't say it. Maybe people won't be so upset by it. Again, that's not how you're going to fix the problem. Like, as much as I don't want to carry a gun, I don't want to recite all the words in your sexual identity. Like, mushrooms have 36,000 different genders, and they shut the fuck up about them. So I don't know what you guys got to be about. Just taking things away. Like, oh, if we stop talking about it, it'll go away. Like, that's ridiculous now. Like, it's to the point, they want to take the rebel flag off the Millennium Falcon. Come on, you guys. It happened a long, long time ago. It's part of their heritage. just let them have it, you know? Like when I go to dress up like Luke Skywalker to see the new Star Wars movie, people think that's going to be cool. But then when I dress up like a Confederate soldier to see 12 Years a Slave, sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave. Like, come on, rebels! I don't know. What side of history am I on here? I know I look like I hate gay people. I am a gay people. I'm just as confused as you are right now. I just don't understand that idea, like, not talking about it will make it go away. No, that's not how it works at all. Like, only 12% of rapes go reported every year. Do you think women would feel any safer if those brave ladies would shut the hell up? No, that's not how it works. Like, it's not going to go away when I stop talking about it. I'll stop talking about it when it goes away. That's how you get an applause break in Chicago. I don't know how it's going to work online, but that's how we do it here. Said I love heroes, and everyone's got heroes. You know, we've had a lot of heroes in the past. Sports figures get to be heroes. My favorite athlete of all time, Bo Jackson. Just an amazing. He's the only guy to be in the All-Star game for football and baseball. So he's kind of like the Michael Jordan of baseball if Michael Jordan never played baseball. And his rise to fame were all the Bo Knows commercials back in the 80s, like, you know, Bo Knows baseball, Bo Knows football, Bo Knows basketball, Bo Knows polo. But the one thing he didn't know when he met legendary guitarist Bo Diddley. Well, Bo didn't know Diddley. And I'd like to think that after his career-ending injury at the hand of the Cincinnati Bengals, I'd like to think that he took up music and kind of became an expert on that too. And I'd like to think that Bo knows Toto, Bo knows the Go-Go's, Bo knows Los Lobos. I bet Bo knows Casey and JoJo. Like, Bo Jackson is probably so good at music that he's even familiar with the eccentric jazz stylings of John Lennon's widow. Yeah, Bo knows Yoko Ono's oboe solos. But even our football players aren't heroes anymore. You know, Tom Brady, I mean, good for him. He got his appeal overturned. He gets to play 4 games with saggy balls now. But, you know, at this point, Tom Brady could probably stab his wife and steal his own memorabilia and get away with it. He's just the penultimate cheater. And he's just the latest in a long line of football controversies. You know, we had Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice, Aaron Hernandez. Michael Samms, the first openly gay football player, couldn't find a team because he was a distraction in the locker room. Fucking let him shower in the other team's locker room. Let him distract them. What's the big deal in letting Michael Samms have a separate but equal locker room? I think that would be very progressive of them. But still, to this day, I will never understand why every Sunday people are giving millions of dollars to a science-denying, woman-hating, homophobic organization that celebrates rapists, murderers, and child abusers, when football is way more entertaining than church. And yeah, that joke does not go over well in Indiana. They hate it there. Which is weird, because, like, I love parts of Indiana. Like, I thought it'd be really, really fun. Last year, I got booked to do a show there. And like I said, Indiana can be fun. They've got Gen Con, the largest nerd convention out there. It smells terrible, but it's so much fun. So let's go ahead and get into the story, because this is one of my favorites. So I don't know if you guys have ever had to drive to Indiana, but as soon as you hit the border, the first thing you see just says Indiana, the crossroads of America. And as you drive, you get to see it's just giant crosses on the side of the roads of America. So they either really hate abortion or terrible drivers. I'm not sure what's going on with them. My favorite billboard that I saw just said, "Who is Jesus? Who is Jesus?" And I said, that's correct. You have control of the board. Because Jesus is the answer, but every answer must be in the form of a question. So pick a category, Indiana. Not science. Nailing it. Good job. So I'm driving through. I drive past the Indianapolis Farmers Coliseum, which is where I assume you just watch Indianapolis farmers fight to the death. And I get to the comedy club, and my jokes are not going over very well at all. I had one of those Nietzsche moments, you know, like when I stared into the audience gazed back at me, and none of us liked what we saw. There was a woman who took a cell phone call in the middle of the show, just took it. Another guy yelled out, "I didn't pay to hear all this gay shit." And I said, well, I don't have any jokes about being married or having kids, and that's kind of on you, the voters. So, at one point, a table of elderly women pulled out yarn and started knitting in the middle of the show. Like just working on scarves or sweaters or something. And I made a rookie mistake. I was like, okay, knitters, please. And they were very upset with me. And I didn't mean anything by it, you know. Like my grandma crochets and she hates knitters. But I don't have a problem with them. So the one lady, I think her name was Pearl, she just starts yelling out, "That's not funny. Sounds like you're saying the N-word." I'm like, well, you're stupid, because knitter starts with a K. K, lady, what are they teaching in Indiana public schools? So I finished my set, I go to the bathroom, and here's the thing. I like to use the small urinal because it makes my dick look bigger. When the door flies open, and I just hear a guy say, "Oh shit, he's gonna rape me." Well, now I'm scared. Because now I have to stop a rapist with my dick out. And at some point, I'm gonna get a fear boner, and that's when I go from being the hero to being the monster. So I stop, I look around, I'm the only person in there. Like, he sees me and just assumes that I'm... Which, I mean, come on. Like, what about me gives off the rapey vibe? Like, I'm not wearing a Cosby sweater or a Steelers jersey. You know, I just like some guys. I don't like every guy forcibly. You know, I've got plenty of guy friends. We'll drink, we'll play video games. Maybe about the third glass of wine, I'll look over and be like, "Hey, do you want to get Roadhead playing Mario Kart?" And I'll be like, "Well, first of all, it's called Toadhead. And second of all, no thanks." And then we just go back to being dudes. Right? But like, if you're one of those guys that gets weirded out when another guy hits on you, now you know how every woman you've ever talked to feels like. So shut up and drink that beer I got you. So it's the end of the night. The manager takes me in the back. He says, "Hey, we're going to have to let you go. It's just not working out here." I'm like, can I get some feedback? And so like, what's going on? And he said, "Look, if this is who you are, that's fine. But just because my audience doesn't agree with you, doesn't mean that they're stupid." And it kind of does. Because like, I didn't choose who I love, I just chose to be honest about it. And if I could be straight, I would. Because if I was straight, it would be so much easier to get laid by gay dudes. So, 10 months after that, Indiana passes that Religious Freedom Act, and I get the bright idea that I'm going to gather up some of my friends, I'm going to go back to their open mic night, and you know, I'll tell some jokes to let them know I'm funny. I'll try and get on their side. You know, be like, "Man, stepped on 3 cats this week, so not to brag, but I am crushing pussy so hard right now. You know, I decided to name my balls Guns and Medicaid because I want the government to keep their hands off them." And then I'd have to stop and find out if anyone supported that Religious Freedom Act. I'm going to have to ask them to leave and deny my services to them. And someone's getting kicked out. It's going to be a big deal. And I figure by the time I'm being interviewed by Rachel Maddow in the Huffington Post, they're going to want to know what I said that was so offensive. I have to say, well, if you really want to know, you can find it on my debut album, Too Soon, available on iTunes and Amazon. Because I'm a whore for publicity. So the day comes around. I get up to the door, and I can't do it. Because they were closed. Turns out for the past 10 months they weren't paying their rent. And they got evicted. And I know when that guy fired me, he prayed he'd never have to see me again. He prayed he'd never have to hear that gay shit on his stage again. And you know what, guys? God listened. Yeah, he didn't take away the gays, he took away his stage. Because that's what happens when you pray with hate in your hearts. So that's when I started believing in God, because I lost my faith in people. And I became an ordained minister. I mean, you guys can do it too. You just send a check to California for $45. So everything I've told you so far is 100% tax exempt. And I know, like, I should be mad at religious people. Honestly, I'm not mad at religious people at all. 'Cause to me, they're just giant nerds. You know, they have their conventions where they dress up on Easter and Christmas and whatever. You know, we have the same things too. We react the same way. Like when the new Fantastic Four movie came out and it made the Human Torch black and people lost their minds, like, you can't have a black guy. It's like, calm down, guys, it's not the Prophet Muhammad. Just fucking chill out. You know, when Henry VIII wanted a divorce, he made his own brand of Christianity, and Northern Ireland has been fighting ever since, just killing each other over it. That's the same kind of outrage I saw when George Lucas released Special Edition Star Wars and told us Greedo shot first. It's not how I was raised. It's not how I believe. I'm not going to raise my kids on that bullshit. No. And, like, I quote Star Wars the same way my aunt quotes the Bible. Only the parts I like and completely out of context. It's a trap! So I understand, like, why Christians get real upset when things don't go the way it's written in the book. Like with gay marriage, you know, when that was happening, ministers were going to set themselves on fire if it passed, which will ease their transition to hell. The one radio guy said that that was the day that the twin towers of truth and righteousness were brought down by moral jihadists. Like it was 9/11 or something. Like, I'm pretty sure love doesn't melt steel beams. Like, I get the outrage by it, but why is it still an issue? Why is it still, you know, controversial or whatever? You can get a pizza with hot dogs in the crust right now. That's an abomination, right? That's going against our traditional American values. You try to tell me I can have wieners in my crust, but I can't have wieners in my buns? What kind of world are we living in? And it's just marriage, too. Like love. We're trying to argue against love. Like who argues against that? Like two people joining together as one is a beautiful event. Unless you were born that way. Then it's inspirational. They can do anything. It's been legal for, I don't know, 4 months now? 5 months? Something like that. It's been illegal for long enough where I'm still single, so what the hell is going on with that, guys? Like, come on, I have health insurance, I have HBO Go. We cannot have sex like a real marriage. I don't know what more you guys want from me. Like, at this point, I feel like the LeBron James of gay marriage. What do I have to do to get a ring? Switch teams? Yeah, that is also my dad's favorite joke. Like, you guys, have you ever asked someone, like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, nothing. And then you get real confused because you know that's not the answer to that joke. That's how I feel about creationism. So, I understand, they got a lot of the ideas, right? You know, Big Bang Theory, let there be light. Where it starts to really lose me is in, like, Genesis 1:26, says God made man and woman. Then in Genesis 2, Adam's just walking around, frustrated that he can't suck his own dick. So God has one of his ribs removed. And when that didn't work, he turned that rib into a woman. Now I know it sounds sexist, but if he would have made Eve first, she would have just grabbed a cucumber and finished it herself, and everything would have been fine. And then no one else would have existed from there. So, ladies, you're the heroes in this. Now, I know they go on like beginning. And I know science can trace our RNA all the way back to one woman back in Africa. But the Bible is trying to tell us that the first woman God made was black. Because she's been missing for at least 6,000 years, and no one seems to care. Like, they're only looking for Amelia Earhart because the bitch stole something. Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up on that heresy. My name is Vincent Holiday. You can follow me on Twitter at Vince Holiday. You can also get my album Too Soon, available on iTunes or Amazon. It's also on Spotify, so I mean you can preview it for 8 cents on there before you can decide to buy it. But yeah, I'll welcome any feedback you have. Thanks.